Aloha and welcome everybody. These are serious times for the state of Hawaii. Since 2008 we had almost a $3 billion budget deficit. Since the tsunami in the last few weeks, it's almost $4 billion. What we did in 2010 as the situation got more serious, we said we need to bring this to the people of Hawaii, so we created our first annual budget. Today we're going to unveil our second annual alternative budget that looks at the crisis that we're facing in the state of Hawaii. Some of the guiding principles and rationale behind that are going to be covered now by Representative Kymberly Pine. Kymberly?
Aloha. Thank you so much for coming. The reason we are releasing this budget today is because we were very concerned about recent statements by both the governor and Democrat leaders. We decided to come out today to release our budget under the basic guiding principles of our caucus and our party, and that is to not increase any taxes and further burden the people of Hawaii, who we've heard from loud and clear that they are already suffering in this economy. We will not affect job creation, and we certainly will not be draining and raiding funds, which has been the common practice of leaders here in the state capital. We're especially concerned by the statements that were made yesterday by the governor, who said that he has put on the table to completely raid the hurricane relief fund. We believe that this could have devastating consequences on our bond rating, and especially with the recent events of the tsunami in Japan and the effects that it had on our state and our economy, that would not be a prudent measure, and it would be devastating should a crisis occur in the future. And we especially were concerned by yesterday's statement by the Senate Majority Leader, who said that the general excise tax increase must be on the table if we are to close the budget gap. And so we are here today to show you our ideas, and most importantly, to share ideas with the people of Hawaii and encourage them to be part of the discussion. Because the decisions that are going to be made in the next month is going to either positively or negatively affect the people of Hawaii. And that's why we're presenting to you an interactive budget that starts the discussion. We know that some of these ideas may not make it through this legislature, but we believe that the time for just talk and the usual way of balancing budgets here in the state of Hawaii by increasing taxes and raiding funds must be stopped. We must, as a state and as leaders, start making the bold decisions today to ensure that we have a bright future tomorrow. And that's included in our budget today.
And the first goal was to close the gap in FY11. FY11's budget deficit was $232 million. The second goal is to close the gap of the FY12 and 13, which is almost $1 billion. Some of the things that we're going to do, we're going to hand you out in detail, but some of the highlights of the FY11 closure of the budget is to borrow $47 million from the Hurricane Relief Fund. That is, again, I say borrow from the Hurricane Relief Fund. We do take some money from the Rainy Day Fund, and we also postpone some tax income refunds, as well as retain the 50-50 split in the healthcare premiums. In the FY 12 and 13, we take all of the House Finance Committee cuts, which equals about $250 million each year, and we maintain the 2-day furlough, as was instituted earlier. No teachers included. Repeat, the furloughs include no Department of Education, no teachers. And thirdly, we raise additional revenues by finding excess funds in various special funds, and also sell underutilized state lands, such as the Aloha Tower. Now, to give us more details on why we're not raising the GT tax and all the examples of the GT, of all the taxes that are being raised or potentially being raised, Barbara Morimoto is going to give you a shopping list and some of the rationale of why the GT tax doesn't need to be raised. Barbara?
Thank you, Representative Ward, and aloha. Look, Mom, no taxes. We're really proud that to present this budget to you. Our goal was to produce a budget with no tax increases. Actually, no new tax increases. We had to go along with some of the recommendations made by the majority, but they had so many tax increases, it was unbelievable. The governor must have proposed $270 million worth of taxes, and the House must have proposed, they put on the table maybe $1 billion worth. I just remember one bill, 799, might have been worth $600 million. Well, that one is still alive, and they will probably be passing parts of it, but it's just unbelievable the amount of taxes. The majority budget and the governor's budget relies heavily on new taxes and tax increases, and our budget does not. So we're really proud of that. So congratulations to Minority Leader Ward for his leadership on producing a budget without new taxes and a lot of fee and tax increases. Mahalo.
Thank you, Barbara. Now, this is the second annual budget. It's not perfect, but it's open for discussion. It is something that we want to open the discussion with the people of Hawaii because it's going to be online and interactive. Representative Fontaine is going to say a few words about that.
Thank you, Representative Ward. Yes, the whole process is again, as Representative Ward mentioned, is to allow the state of Hawaii, the people of the state of Hawaii, to interact with this budget and actually go through and make your own custom budget so that you can see the tough choices that have to be made in this type of economic downturn. So we encourage people to go online. The website is hawaiistatebudgetonline.com, where you can go online, work with it, sit in the driver's seat, and simulate actually going through a budget creation and see what kinds of things that you would want to cut, what kinds of things you would want to increase. And it'll give you a sense in real time about where this process is. And I think for school children, from everyone, should go on and get involved in the process and see what this process what it takes to do it. So anyway, Representative Wu.
So it's interactive. It's for the people of Hawaii. It's our budget, but it's our budget on the table. It's not something that we're not going to share with other people. And it's first something regarding the opposite side of the aisle, of which Representative Riviere is going to say a few things.
I just wanted, so that we put this into perspective, the Finance Committee has done a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of tough choices that need to be made this year. So I first of all want to thank the majority party and the work they've done for putting together a budget which, as previously mentioned, does cut a couple $100 million of spending that would otherwise go. I think the difference, and I believe we all agree, that the difference is the philosophy. Whereas we're not taking it for granted that we can just go grab more money from the public. We feel the public is already burdened enough with the economy, just trying to pay their bills. We hear loudly and clearly that they want us to balance a budget. They want us to make some bold choices. So some of these ideas that we're proposing are not going to be very popular, but the community, the public, is asking for the government to get on side and live within its means. So we want to work with the majority party, and we're going to be working. There's 3 of us on the committee. We're going to be presenting this with the chair. Hopefully we can get some dialogue going to have a true bipartisan budget by the time we get to the end of this process. That's what I'd like to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. The key words: openness, transparency, and of by and for openly democratic. And to say a few things about the democratic spirit of the budget, Representative Johansson.
Well, I think what's clear, and one of the things that we've been hearing as we've been having town halls with our constituents, and just what you hear in the broader conversation going on with the people, is that these are tough choices that the government is asking the broader state and all of our people to make. But it shouldn't take a professional budget analyst to be able to assess the bill. And we recognize that there's a lot of common sense out there among our constituents. And I think this is an effort to be able to not only help bring them into the fold, allow them to be a part of the process, but also to proffer some common sense ideas that perhaps may not have dawned on all of us in our inner workings here. I mean, this is our government, and sometimes I have particularly heard that people aren't sure what's going on in the budget discussion. Some of it is over their head and not accessible, and I think in an effort to democratize the information and really provide that true access where someone can look at it like they would their household budget, on an Excel chart, fairly simple, add, subtract, to be able to be a part of that. And we do recognize that we don't have a lock on good ideas. And sometimes you have to hear it from the people directly. We want this, we don't want this, or we think this is an idea that's not on the table yet. And we need to bring those ideas as a part of the broader discussion to the table. I think that's how this caucus feels. I'm sure that's how the majority caucus feels as well when they proffered their budget, and that's how the governor feels. It's a common problem that we all share, that we all need to work together to fix, and this is just to put some more ideas out there on the table and keep the discussion going, because it's too important not to remedy, and it's too important not to include the people, you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. That's exactly it. We invite all the people of Hawaii around their kitchen tables to look at the spending that we, the fiduciary officers, if you will, if they were going to invest in Merrill Lynch or somebody, they'd want to trust who's spending, taking care of their money. And this is a chance for you to make the decisions on revenue. This is a chance for you to make a chance for expenditure decisions. We need to hear from you. www.hawaiistatebudgetonline.com